Hey there guys, John Campea here. Thank you for visiting my movie vlog, and this is my incredibly late to the party, but better late than never review of the brand new Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen film, Wind River. Wind River is directed and written by Taylor Sheridan. Now, Taylor Sheridan, you might recognize his name. He was also the writer of Sicario and Hell or High Water. He's actually becoming one of my favorite filmmakers and writers, and now maybe even directors in the business today, because he is now 3 for 3 with Wind River. I absolutely love this movie. It is one of the best of the year so far. Wind River takes place entirely on this native reservation called Wind River, hence the title of the film, where a young teenage girl is found dead in the middle of the wilderness, having run 6 miles through winter, cold, and snow. She had been raped and eventually died of exposure. Now that's the setup to the film that on the surface then looks like, well, then this is a murder mystery. And in some ways it is. There are definitely elements of a murder mystery here in the movie. Elizabeth Olsen plays the FBI agent who is not the local FBI agent. She just happens to be the closest FBI agent available. She gets assigned to the case. Now you have Jeremy Renner, who is a local there. He lives there with the community. He was married to one of the residents there. He has a child there and he loves his life there. And he's part of the fish and game part of the government. So they're not really clear on it, but he's part of the fish and game ministry there as far as I can tell. And he is a hunter. Elizabeth Olsen enlists his help to start, first of all, tracking down what happened to this girl, where they found her, and what may have happened to her. And it becomes very personal for him. Why does it get so personal for him? Well, as the movie progresses, you start to find that out. Like I said a little bit early on, I loved this movie. And I think one of the reasons why I love this movie is that while there are exceptions, absolutely there are exceptions, to me, most of the time, the best movies are movies that center around characters. And while the shell of Wind River has the appearance of being about a murder mystery, and certainly the murder mystery is there and it's the driving force, by the time the movie ends, you realize the murder mystery really wasn't what had you hooked in this movie. As a matter of fact, the only negative thing I can say about Wind River is that the conclusion of the murder mystery itself is a little underwhelming per se, but that didn't bother me at all, because really it was just a setup. It was a tool. It was a plot device to move our characters along in the story, and the strength of this movie relies on its characters, primarily with Jeremy Renner, who gives one of the best performances of his career. There is power and strength in his character, yet frailty and brokenness in his character. There are times that you're with him in the screen and you're like, yeah! And then there are times that he's on screen that your heart is just breaking for him. He gives such a subtle yet widely varied performance that he just crosses all sorts of lines and boundaries when it comes to human emotion. I was just completely enthralled with his performance. Speaking about powerful emotional performances, there's an actor by the name of Gil Birmingham who's in this film. He plays the father of the girl that had died, and he's friends with the Jeremy Renner character all at the same time. And again, a character that portrays strength, but there's one moment in the film when emotion becomes a part of it. And I felt myself as an audience member watching him and Jeremy Renner on screen together. I thought I was going to cry, and I don't cry. I've cried in movie theaters like 5 times in my life, and I swear I thought I was going to cry. I was so bought in to the emotional performance that both Gil and Jeremy were giving on screen. It was just nerve-wracking yet compelling all at the same time. Gil also, while he is by no means comic relief in the movie at all, he gives a few moments of much-needed laughter in the film as well, because you find like a movie like Wind River, if you're too heavy and too serious for too long, as an audience member, you can start to get weighed down under that. You need little moments of relief, of being able to take a breath. Gil delivers that. Now, speaking of terrific performances, the Native American actor that all of Hollywood seems to go to when they need him, the great Graham Greene, he's in here too. Also gives some great moments of levity, but again, by no means is he comic relief. That brings us to Elizabeth Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen was perfectly fine in this movie. She gives a very good performance. Not the best performance I've ever seen her give, but that's not really her fault, because there really wasn't much more for her to do and to give. And I found that she was probably getting as much out of every scene as she possibly could. So I don't blame her for that. She did perfectly well. It's a good character. And I know what I'm about to say sounds like something that a traditional artsy douche would kind of say, but it's true. I came walking out of this theater after watching Wind River and feeling like this was a movie looking at the human spirit, both the strength of the human spirit, the incredible brittle frailty of the human spirit, and ultimately, when it's at its best, the beauty of the human spirit. Yes, a lot of this movie is very exciting. Yes, a lot of this movie is very tense. Yes, there are some moments of laughter as well. Yes, there are some horrifying things on screen. But to me, the brilliance of this and what Taylor Sheridan has been able to write and direct apparently so well is that it all comes back down to the characters that are inhabiting the story and the human nature that they exhibit, from the strength to the frailty and everything in between. And by the time this movie ended, I was just glued to my seat. I didn't want to leave. Normally when credits start to roll, even in a great comic book movie, I'm like, all right, that was great. And I get up and walk out. But like, I was glued to my seat after this movie was done. This movie is fantastic. The important thing here though is, what did you think of Wind River? Have you had a chance to see it yet? If you have, jump in the comment section, let me know your thoughts. If you have not, I'm still sure it's playing at a whole lot of theaters. Get out tonight. Make plans to go and see this movie. You will not regret it. That'll do it for this review, guys. While you're here, why don't you take a second, click on the subscribe button, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Follow me on social media, simply at John Campea. That'll do it for me, guys. Thanks for a lot for joining me, and until the next video, bye-bye.